What's up, guys? I'm Brandon Kyle, and this is The Fight Life. On The Fight Life, we like to show you an in-depth look at local fighters as they prepare for their upcoming bouts. Today's guest is an amateur standout from one of the best teams in the country. I'm talking, of course, about Team Alpha Male, right out of Sacramento, California. He is 6-2 as an amateur, looking to make it 7-2 before he makes his jump to the pro ranks. I am talking, of course, about the man to my right, Beast Mode, Michael Humphrey. Thanks for joining us, Beast Mode. It's a pleasure, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Right on. Okay, so let's start off with that right there. It's kind of one of those nicknames where, it sticks out. How did you get that moniker as the Beast Mode?
Well, man, it came to me long before even cage fighting. I started wrestling, and I started wrestling at a really young age. And I started with my club out in Ferndale, California, the Ferndale Wildcats Wrestling Club with my coach, Kenny Simpson. And I was very, very hard-nosed, very stubborn. I liked doing things my way. It was my way or the highway. And my first year, I ended up tearing through the guys that I wrestled. I was tiny, I was barely probably 60 pounds when I started wrestling.
Wow.
My freshman year, I didn't get much bigger. I was wrestling at 105 pounds. My first match I wrestled, I was 94 pounds total. And no one really believes me when I tell them this, but...
Oh, you got a little pic here?
That's a picture of me from high school.
Look at this little beast. Look at little Beast Mode here.
And,
he is just a little... Like 100 pounds soaking wet, huh?
Oh, yeah. Probably not even barely that.
All right, so you had to be a scrapper from early on.
Yeah, and so it was scrap from the whistle. And, being that, I came with so much, adversity because I wrestled in a big weight class. 105s is your freshman year. It's a huge weight class, especially because when you get into high school, you learn about all the weight cutting techniques. Mm-hmm. You learn about all that stuff that goes into what I am doing now with the fighting. And, it's just crazy to see. I fought some guys that were 17, 18 when I was 13.
Because they're cutting
because
weight
they're
to make that
cutting
105.
weight to make 105.
Yeah. And they probably walk around 130, right, off season.
And here I am with a cheeseburger trying to bulk
trying
up
to make
to
weight. Yeah, you're stuffing your
Yeah.
pockets with quarters to try to get on the scale so you're close enough to make weight.
And it was cool. My freshman year, I qualified for sections. I placed fourth. I ended up tearing my elbow completely out of socket in one of my matches, trying to throw a kid down on a single the wrong way.
What happens sometimes when you go beast mode?
Exactly, and as the funny part about it, what I remember specifically from this is we're sitting there and I'm getting my elbow taped, and I looked up at my coach and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even unhappy. I'm unhappy that I didn't land that takedown. And he looks at me and he's like, damn, dude, I gotta come up with a name with you. And then we got back to school and we're starting freestyle season, and he brought me up a shirt and it said Coach Beast on the back. And my buddy Javier Juarez, he unfortunately doesn't do sports anymore, and I'm not sure what he's doing with life right now, but I know he was a top-notch quality wrestler. He qualified for a scholarship with UC Davis back in the day, and that was his nickname. And so they came together, and I was just like, well, I can't be Coach Beast. I'll be Coach Beast Mode.
Oh, okay. So you're like an adaptation.
So it's kind of like an adaptation, and it was kind of a throwback for me and my coach, and it was kind of just coming.
So this was before the whole Marshawn Lynch Beast Mode came about. This has been around for a while.
This is back when I think I don't know how long Marshawn's been in the league and how long he's been.
I don't know how long he's been Beast Mode, but you guys are right there.
We're right there
neck and neck.
The same
around the same time.
He's done more with it. He has clothes.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, it's only a matter of time, brother. Okay, so you're at Team Alpha Male, and everybody knows that Team Alpha Male is one of the top teams in the country. You have Uriah Faber, you have Andre Feely there. Danny Castillo was a longtime UFC guy. So it seems, though, that those guys are getting a little bit older, and they're taking a step back from fighting, and they're kind of taking a step up when it comes to coaching. And it seems like you're a part of this next wave of Team Alpha Male stars. I just called a couple fights with your buddy Cody Vogels and Hector Fajardo. They just made their pro debuts and had stellar performances. And it looks like you're, before the end of the year, probably you're going to be making your pro debut. You said this is your last amateur fight. So, how is it kind of training under Team Alpha Male? What's the atmosphere like now that you guys have been established gym for 10 years? You have all these UFC vets, and now you guys are kind of the young guns in the school coming up.
So like for me, I'm new at the gym and everything. I can't say new. I'm fairly new at the gym. I've been with Team Alpha Male now, Team Alpha Male Ultimate Fitness, for about, I want to say, close to 6 months, training with the pros, training with the development team, and taking classes and stuff. And it's been an amazing experience. I come from a very small team with Kovar Satori, who happens to be a Dustin. They're an affiliate of.
Dustin Akbari, the jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dustin Akbari is in a Kovar affiliate.
Okay.
There, so
kind of a sister school.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I came from their little small MMA team they had, and I moved up, and just the training and the competition level and stuff like that, just everything you see, it's a different atmosphere there. And they turn you into, like, if you want to be a successful pro, if you want to be somebody in the MMA realm, like, and know your shit, that's the place to be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they have such a huge stable of guys to train with, so it's you're never short of training partners and quality coaching there.
And it's always the best thing about that gym too is you always have a new face. Like you're never gonna get. They always have an influx of people coming from all over the country.
Just to train there, just to get that specified training with you guys.
Yeah, and it's so cool. My first week there, I remember I ended up rolling and learning from this pro that was 3-1 from Italy named Guido. It was the most awesome experience I've ever had. I've never experienced that anywhere else, but I got to learn and get punched in the face by a pro from
across
Italy.
The world, right?
Yeah, from across the world.
Did he speak in English? Was there like language barrier?
There was like he spoke English, but it was very like broken.
Yeah.
So I had to speak very slow, but it was still it's still an awesome experience.
And I think that's what's great about and what people don't understand about martial arts and how it brings people together is, like, you and I you've rolled with Brazilians that don't speak a lick of English, but you spend 5 minutes like trying to choke each other out and kill each other, and you can create a bond. You guys are close, and it's almost like you're friends afterwards.
Yeah, and that's the best thing I like about MMA too. Part of the reason I've stuck around with MMA too, because some people got to be thinking, why the hell have you stuck around in a sport where you
put your body through that kind of stuff, right?
Or you punch people in the face and stuff, and it's because like that's where it takes place. Outside of the cage, we're best friends, some of us.
Yeah.
Like I had, for example, my birthday was last Thursday. I had 3 or 4 of my teammates come out and hit me up and ask, let's go for sushi, let's do this, let's do that. It was awesome. I got to hang out with my teammates, get a little bit drunk.
You do get a brotherhood when you guys are in there trying to kill each other for
awesome.
5 days out of the week.
It's awesome.
Well, and I noticed too, after you fight somebody, you share something. It's intimate up there. It's you and him, and you're performing in front of all these people. You're trying to. Again, you guys are trying to take each other out, but afterwards there seems to be a respect amongst people that you fight. Usually, if there's a mutual respect. If there's a mutual respect. But because you guys share something, you guys are the only two out there that were doing it right there in that bout. And then also there's no ego with guys that you train with. I noticed because you know what you can do to each other. You guys are in and out grinding every day, so you don't have to worry about that. I wonder what would happen if, because you guys pretty much scrap every day. So you sound like you've been a longtime MMA fan. You were a wrestler at a young age. So do you have any favorites, idols growing up that you look back and you go, these are the guys that made me want to get in the gym and start doing mixed martial arts?
See, so my whole life I grew up following MMA legend welterweight Matt Hughes. I grew up following his whole career.
So he's a wrestler, got into MMA, and then had a dominant career at welterweight in the UFC.
And not just that, won his title off some controversy. Technically, he got choked out by Carlos
the Carlos Newton when he dropped and they both kind of passed out. It was like
Rocky
Rocky II. He got up just before. Yeah.
And so technically, he won that belt off a little bit of controversy, and so it's always, there's been a little hint of controversy behind me too. I started out my career at 170. I used to be a big kid too. Through high school, I said I was small.
But you got big.
I had weight issues. I didn't know how to manage it well. I got up to like 236 pounds.
Whoa.
And I have that.
And you're talking about fighting pro at 135 pounds?
Yeah, I want to go
And you
pro
were at 230
35.
at one point? That's an accomplishment in itself right there.
The thing is, if you put your mind to something, I told myself 3 years ago when I started this career that I wasn't going to be as heavy as I was. It was causing me heart issues. It was causing me a seizure issue. you know,
Wow.
and it just caused me a bunch of health issues that I did not need, did not want.
At your age too, yeah.
Especially at my age. I'm only 24,
Yeah,
man.
for real. That's not good.
I got a lot of career
Yeah,
ahead
that's
of
not
me,
good,
so-
brother. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, you know, just dealing with all of that and overcoming that adversity was part of the reason why I've been called beast mode. Part of the reason why so much good shit's been happening in my career. Excuse my language, but
No worries.
you know, it's just I love it. This sport basically saved my life, and it's became a lifestyle for me. And from it, I've got the best fight fans, the best family, and the best friends anyone could have ever asked for.
Oh, awesome. Sounds like you're really enjoying the fight life here. So, okay, so that Matt Hughes was your idol growing up. Now, who do you kind of model yourself after as far as stylistically in the cage? You know, is there some favorite, you know, strikers, grapplers out there that you kind of say, man, I love watching that guy. I
So-
want to do what they do.
You know how they say MMA is ever evolving, and I grew up watching these guys fight, wrestle, stuff like that, and you know, I met Uriah probably about, I want to say 10, 11 years
I know
ago.
I saw a picture on your Facebook of you as
Yeah.
he's a little kid. How old are you? Maybe
I was probably about 9
9 or 10, and he's standing with Uriah Faber. And
It was at Matt Azevedo Wrestling Camp out in Squaw Valley, California. My buddy Jordan Wallstrom took me. Great kid. He works for Fortuna PD, former wrestler himself. You know, he took me out there and introduced me to Uriah. And I fell in love with his titles. They were so shiny. He had his King of the Cage belt, and he had his WEC belt. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with like World Extreme Cage Fighting, but
It was the UFC for the smaller weight classes
Yes.
before the UFC integrated the smaller weight classes.
It was-
Basically,
yes.
it was.
It
So
was
if you were 45 or
UFC
down,
yeah, you were
if
in
you
the
were the title
WEC.
holder, you were the best in the world, pretty much at that point.
You were if you were WEC and you were 145 below, that's where you were at.
Yep.
And then once the UFC bought him, it was just like that. I love that promotion. And once the UFC bought him, it gave the UFC a banging lower
Oh
weight
yeah.
class. And
Look at what's happened in that weight division since. you
yeah,
know?
and it's just blown up. It's blown up, and it's been amazing to see what it has. And so to answer your question, I've modeled it after those guys that have been successful coming up. Uriah Faber, like I get to train with these guys now.
Yeah, how can you not?
You know,
Yeah,
and so like
you know,
a lot of
absorb some
a
of
lot
this
of my
stuff.
striking, and how can you not absorb some of the knowledge? You know, Tyler Diamond, Benito Lopez, you know, the Oroville boys, you know, Brandon Waltz, like a bunch of my teammates. I've modeled a bunch of my striking after them. After I joined the team, just there's such a plethora of knowledge in there. I can look up a video of any one of my teammates, take down an hour worth of notes, and be like, "Yep, let's go work this on the
and
back."
ask them about those notes.
Yeah, and then come
specifically.
back and be like, "Hey, am I doing this right?"
You know, it sounds like you have quite an analytical mind when it comes to the game, and that kind of is transferring over as you are segueing into a media role in the fight game as well. I've seen you started your own podcast. You're working with, you know, some of the media outlets to kind of cover events and stuff.
Yeah.
How did that come about, and, you know, what's your goal with that?
So I've always been interested in the sports broadcasting side, and so fortunate enough, I ran into these guys at Bay Area Combat.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And you know, and we hit it off from there. I met a couple of their students, and they're like, "Yeah, you need to really come in for an interview and sit down with us and stuff like that." And so that's what started it. And I had the love before. Like I used to sit down and commentate UFC fights in my room with
Yeah.
the TV muted.
Cool.
So.
So you've been practicing.
I've always been a big fan of Joe Rogan. I've always been a big fan of Mike Goldberg, and you know, it's just for me, announcing, broadcasting, being part of this fight life in any way possible as I can, coaching, broadcasting, interviewing, or fighting. Give me all of it.
Right on. I love
You
it.
know,
Sounds like you got a
I
pure
love it.
passion for the sport there.
I love the fight life, and it's not so much that I love getting in the cage as I love being involved. You know, and that's where it stands for me. Any sort of involvement in a positive light is.
Well, I can
You know?
definitely see where you're coming from there. Still involved myself, long time after being in the cage. Well, let's let the folks at home know, you know, what your next bout is, where it's scheduled, you know, what you have planned afterwards.
So yeah, so my next fight is back home. It's gonna be my last amateur fight, November 17th for Bear River Fighting Championship 7. The opponent I had at first dropped out, and so my replacement opponent, unfortunately, is a guy that's backed out on me twice,
Yeah.
and so yeah.
Quack, quack, huh, you think? He's
It's
ducking?
one of those where it's like quacks like duck, talks like duck, walks like duck. But the thing is I'm going up there to my hometown crowd, you know. So I'm going up there. I'm bringing my belts. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be walking out. You know, whether he shows up or not, get on the mic and let people know. You know, if my opponent's not there, I'm sorry. If he is, you know, strike hard, strike fast, no mercy.
And then you going pro after this, you know, you got any ideas of who you want to, you know, come out and take on in your pro debut?
I do. I've been having words back and forth with this guy. It's not like no disrespectful stuff. I just really want to fight him.
Okay.
I really feel like it would be a good fight for me. He's fought in Bellator, I think, once or twice. He fought Justin Tenadora. He's fought Brady Huang. He's fought nothing but tough guys.
Yeah.
I want that challenge. David Rivera Ruiz out of Wolves of the Valley. His main coach is Derek Williams. You know, I've been in Derek Williams' ear, not on disrespectful stuff, just been like, hey, let's get this set up. Let's make it happen. You know,
I respect your guy. I want to see what I can do in there against him.
Yeah, it's like I'm ready for that step up. Your dude's had 3 pro fights. You know, like,
I like it.
This.
I like it. Sounds like you got your eyes set on that pro debut already. So hopefully that you can make that happen. All right, man. Well, you know what? I want to wish you the best of luck on your final amateur fight and your, you know, soon to come pro career. I'm sure you're going to do great, and then your media outlets and whatnot. But that's going to wrap it us for here at The Fight Life. Again, I'm Brandon Kyle here at the Solano College Sports Network. We're here with Beast Mode, Michael Humphrey, as he prepares for his last amateur fight and foray into the professional ranks of MMA. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Right on, Michael. Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you.